Talent Talk Tuesdays is all about harnessing your God-given talents to live with greater clarity, purpose, and joy. You are wonderfully made, my friends. May all we do be for God's glory. Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa Mladnick, your host, and today on Talent Talk Tuesdays, I'm answering another common question about coaching. Should I train as a coach? My straightforward, sincere answer is that anyone in any walk of life, vocation, or profession would benefit from acquiring some basic coaching skills because they can greatly enhance your effectiveness in the work you're already doing, which is a separate topic from should I become a professional life coach? And I'll cover both today. So this episode will be a little longer than usual. It's a pretty complex topic. So to start, I firmly believe, as I said, that no question everyone could benefit from life coach training that is, say it with me, I know I say this all the time, ethical and skillful. It's a big claim, I know. So why do I think coach training is so beneficial? Lots of reasons. In episode 28, I did a deep dive into what coaching is, so I won't go as deep on that today. But as you ponder the possibility of getting trained, I will briefly share 5 important points for your consideration. Number 1, the impact of powerful coaching questions. Number 2, important human needs that are met through coaching. Number 3, specific practical trends and details about this emerging profession. Number 4, how to discern whether you should get trained. And number 5, some resources of my favorites for learning more about the best training and whether it might be right for you. Okay, so I'll try to go through these pretty quick because every one of these points could be a whole conversation. So I'm just touching on them and hoping that you'll talk to me and do some more investigating of your own. So remember that you can reach out to me at any point. All right, so point number 1, the impact of powerful coaching questions. I'll start by asking you a very ordinary question, and I want you to notice what happens in your brain. What is your favorite food? Your mind started selecting a favorite instantaneously, right? Maybe a couple of favorites. I do this little demo just to let you experience how fast your brain responds to any question by completely focusing on seeking an answer. It's the way God designed our brains to work. So coaches are specially trained to ask questions in respectful and powerful ways that help clients to shift into fresh perspectives, to draw out of themselves what is true, what is motivating, creative solutions, new ideas, and deep, heartfelt desires. Add to that, coaches are listening deeply, so any questions they ask are actually direct responses to what the client is already saying and exploring. In fact, a well-trained coach notices what the client is saying and what they're not saying, how they say something, their pacing and energy, their moments of reflection and silence, shifts in emotion, or places where they suddenly go from a halting cadence to a smooth flowing stream of thoughts. People call that being in flow. The coach is tuning in and staying curious in order to skillfully facilitate the client's exploration. And coaching questions are never for the sake of the coach. They help the client to think and learn at a whole new level, and then make plans for action toward their goals. And here's another benefit to these beautiful skills. The coach who is skillful at listening, asking, and exploring also notices that their own personal relationships are thriving in new ways because they learn not only the skills of listening and asking, but they see and truly believe the beauty of that selfless dynamic as a place where God works in wondrous and surprising ways, in which they draw out the other for the other's sake. In Catholicism, love is defined as willing the good of the other. Coaching at its best gives us pathways for doing just that. I'll share a quick story on that. When I was first taking the basic coach training, this was the Essentials of Life Coaching course, the one that I teach now. But I was taking it back in March of 2018, and a student in my class, a fellow student, was having a really hard time with their teenage son. And we were sharing wins for the week, like what were we learning that was changing things for us professionally, personally, in terms of our new skill sets, right? So she said she was having a really hard time with her teenage son, and they were fighting a lot, they were getting nowhere. So one day, she's working in her kitchen, and he explodes into the room and starts yelling at her. Well, instead of doing what she would normally do, which is completely understandable, start yelling back, putting him in his place. She just listened and then asked a question and then another. This always makes me cry. And suddenly her son broke down in tears and he told her what was really bothering him. So she changed the pattern. She used her new skills, and their whole relationship changed for the better. She was just awestruck and grateful that this new skill set had helped her to be present in a powerful and selfless way. Powerful questions. All right, point number 2. Coaching addresses serious needs that our society is failing at meeting. People need to be listened to, but it's just not happening enough. A study was done several years ago, and people were asked, do you have someone in your life who really listens to you? What percentage of people do you think said yes? It was 5%. Just 5% had someone who really listened to them. And this was several years ago, before our society was quite so addicted to screens, before lockdowns and the stark rise in people feeling isolated and cut off from others. There is a terrible poverty that needs to be addressed, and coaching skills can equip the church to overcome it. Because we all need someone to listen, to help us process our thoughts and feelings with someone who cares, and explore what is possible in our lives with someone who values that exploration. In this process, the authentic self is unveiled more and more. Imagine that feeling of really authentically being seen by someone. The client is even able to see themselves and their lives with fresh eyes, new possibilities, opportunities, new ways of thinking and doing, of living out their precious God-given lives. Often this process helps clients get free of limiting beliefs and mindsets that may have been holding them back for years. And our God has made us for relationships, so we all need someone who will walk with us powerfully, with a genuine respect for our authentic being. Coaching is highly relational, trusting, warm, and fun. This process of deep listening and powerful questions can change a person's life for the better, much faster than they can do on their own, in transformative ways, personally, spiritually, creatively, professionally, physically. Whatever the human need for growth and forward movement, coaching addresses serious human needs. Point number 3. I'll bet you'd like a few quick details about coaching as a profession. Like, what is it like to work as a coach? First, coaching has amazing traction around the world in many areas of the marketplace, ministries, and the gigantic personal development industry. It's huge. And in the Catholic Church, it's starting to get some serious traction as well. I've talked about this in past episodes, but coaches are more and more helping Catholic businesses to thrive, working in dioceses, parishes, seminaries, colleges and universities, even high schools, small and large ministries in an incredible variety. And I've said this before, but coaching is helping to renew the church. And that's thrilling to me, because I see its potential in every one of my clients. As each individual soul embraces their unique calling with the humble boldness of a child of God and starts really living out their God-given mission and purpose, the whole church is impacted. There's a ripple effect through marriages and families, ministries, schools, and businesses. And new niches are popping up every day. Coaches who specialize in helping with dating, marriage, parenting, special needs parenting, business building, living with chronic illness, recovering from burnout, work-life balance, fitness, wellness, living with ADHD, long-term addiction recovery, navigating divorce, the annulment process, real estate investment, spiritual growth, creativity, professional advancement, career change, retirement, leadership. Really think about any phase or aspect of life where you have people with unique paths, needs, questions. You're eventually going to have coaches, and they're already in many, many niches. So all of this growth and forward momentum affects not only individuals and organizations, but communities, parish communities, our towns. And I hope eventually even nations will be impacted by this beautiful movement. God is amazing. So our small acts of love and service to the people he calls each of us to serve, and all the ways we help others grow closer to God, seeking him, knowing themselves better, all helps to light up the church. Many of the saints said that self-knowledge was the first essential step to growing in holiness. It's the first room of the interior castle, according to St. Teresa of Avila. And St. Catherine of Siena famously said, if you are who you are meant to be, you will set the world on fire. So coaching is a growing and valuable profession. You probably have questions about money too, right? I get asked this one a lot. What do coaches typically earn? Can I make a living? Well, a small business can take a few years to build to the point where it sustains you. I'll just say that right out of the gate. You get coach training, you don't instantly, like a pop up, suddenly have a business, right? It takes time to develop. I had several other income streams while I was building my practice. So, and what you charge depends on your niche. An elite business coach can make thousands an hour. Most executive and team coaches are making more like several hundred an hour. Strengths coaches like me typically make 100 to 200 an hour. Most life coaches are in that range as well, some quite a bit more, depends. Yet some of the lowest paying niches are also very rewarding, like working with homeschoolers, single moms, the elderly, college students. Although some colleges do hire coaches, so you can do pretty well there if you have an ICF credential. So it's pretty common sense. Clients who by definition tend to be in lower income brackets are able to pay less. Clients who can pay more do. I also get asked about professional opportunities for coaches. The question usually comes as, are there coaching jobs out there? As I've said, the secular world has embraced coaching in a big way. So coaching is folded into many management and leadership development positions, recruiting, lots of kind of corporate and business structures, as well as academia. You can work in a college. You can also work in a hospital, the government, the military. There's lots of coaching going on there. There are many opportunities for well-trained coaches. But within the church, as I've said, doors are also opening. Many large Catholic ministries, ones that you would recognize the names of, use coaches to help them work more dynamically in forming their leaders and teams, as well as in the way that they form and support the people that they serve. Coaches are really a part of those structures now. And more dioceses, seminaries, and religious orders are bringing in coaches or having their leaders coach trained so that they can develop a coaching culture in their organizations. I've trained in my classes at PCCI priests, deacons, religious, homeschool moms, therapists, teachers, entrepreneurs, medical professionals, crisis pregnancy, counselors, artists, campus ministry leaders, and so many more. Like people are being called from many different backgrounds. So as a profession, things are already thriving outside the church. That's been going on a long time. And the coaching movement is growing inside the church. So the niche will tell you a lot about the living that you can make. Building a business, as I said, takes time. And opportunities are expanding both inside and outside the church to work within industries or to be a solopreneur and start your own, which you got to be patient with, okay? But it's so rewarding. I love it. Okay, point number 4. Let's talk about how you can discern whether coach training is right for you. Speaking from my experience as an instructor, many people take the basic coaching course at PCCI as part of their discernment. It makes a lot of sense because joining a cohort and learning the basic skills, ethics, and core competencies, the psychological concepts, the growth and development models, participating in coaching practice sessions and watching coaching demonstrations equips them to level up in whatever they're already doing in their personal and professional lives and gives them a ringside seat to this exciting profession. And of course, in the course that I teach, we're also doing it through a Catholic lens aligned with the International Coaching Federation. So it's really exciting. And of course, first and foremost, with any discernment, start with prayer. Use the pillars of discernment that have worked for you in the past. Talk with your spouse, your spiritual director, those who know you best. Bring it to adoration, your rosary, your Lectio Divina. Seek a peaceful sense of confirmation from the Lord. And part of your discernment also might just be talking with me. I'd be happy to talk with you about this and just tell you more and hear what you're thinking about and all of that. There's no cost to it and no pressure at all. But recognize that you've been on this journey with the Lord for a long time. So recognize your own patterns of discernment and you'll know when you have peace about it. So again, think about taking a basic course and pray and discern. Point number 5, I'll suggest a few of my favorite resources to help you learn more about coaching. So first of all, I'd love to talk with you, as I said, about the ICF-aligned Catholic training that I lead at the Professional Christian Coaching Institute. That's PCCI. So reach out and we'll talk. Also, check out PCCI's incredible podcast. I mean this. When I first started coaching the first few years, I listened to it all the time. I never missed an episode. I was just drinking it in. You can find it at their website, professionalchristiancoaching.com, and on any podcast platform. The name of their actual show is Professional Christian Coaching Today. The direct links to these resources are in the email all my subscribers get on Tuesday mornings, FYI. And if you check out the podcast, do a search in the archives. So this is a resource within PCCI's podcast. Check out the archives for a series they call Masterful Coaching. Okay, it's 3 words. It's spelled master, just as it sounds, and then a hyphen, and then F-U-L-L. The idea is that it's full of the master, full of Christ, okay? Master hyphen full coaching. So search that in PCCI's podcast archives. And you can click through their podcast from the homepage. It's super easy. And you'll find recordings of actual sessions, coaching sessions, with the client's permission, of course, shared, and there's debriefing and great conversations around what's happening in the session. And you can get a taste for what professional coaching actually sounds like without spending a penny. Okay, this is a great resource. So, in closing for today, remember some of the points that I've made. Ethical, well-trained coaches ask powerful questions. They help people to grow exponentially. They improve relationships and are able to achieve their dreams. They meet important human needs for deep listening and self-knowledge. And coaches are called to accompany people in answering God's call on their lives, at least faith-based coaches are, so that these people don't have to go it alone. Coaches operate in a huge variety of niches and serve all kinds of people in changing their lives for the better. So if God is calling you, that niche will become clear to you at some point. It'll be people that you're attracted to serving, that you kind of understand their needs. And remember, you can take the basic coach training as part of your discernment. Many people do, and they're blessed whether they become coaches or not. The skills that you learn will be game changers, depending whatever God is calling you to do. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. The Catholic track at PCCI, by the way, has a new cohort forming each fall and spring. So reach out to me if you're curious, actively discerning, or just having one of those Holy Spirit nudges to turn the next page of your own life story to see where a conversation about coach training might illuminate your path ahead. It won't cost you anything. Again, I'd love to talk with you. I'm at lisa@wonderfullymade139.com. Next week starts a new series on the 10 ways your talents can transform your life. I hope you'll join me. You are wonderfully made, my friends. I'm praying for you. Please pray for me too. God bless you.